Hello there, welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. No Indian boots on ground in Afghanistan, India tells US, but will continue development and medical assistance to the war-torn nation. Nirmala Sitharaman tells James Mattis. Visiting US Defence Secretary also meets Prime Minister Modi. Pakistan violates a ceasefire yet again, targets a forward post along the line of control in Punch, firing a day after security forces gunned down Hizbul Mujahideen's most wanted terrorist, Abdullah Najjar, in a gun battle in Uri. Gorkha Janmukti Morcha withdraws indefinite strike in Darjeeling after Home Minister Rajnath Singh's appeal. Union Home Secretary to hold meeting within a fortnight to discuss all the issues. US announces new sanctions against Pyongyang, blacklists North Korean banks and individuals in several countries. This as Trump reiterates that America was totally prepared for a military option. And a huge leap forward for Saudi Arabia. King Salman issues decree allowing women to drive for the first time, order to be implemented by June 2018. Our top story at the top of this hour, Pakistan has violated ceasefire yet again. Firing is on along the line of control in Punch and Binber Gully sectors as Pakistan targeted the forward posts in these areas with mortars and small arms fire. The firing comes a day after security forces gunned down a top Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist in an encounter in the Uri sector on Tuesday. The most wanted Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist, Abdul Qayyum Najjar, was killed by the security forces near the line of control while he was trying to sneak into the valley after taking charge of the outfit. Najjar was wanted for his alleged involvement in more than 50 killings in the past 17 years, including that of policemen in Haigam area of Sopore. Najjar is a resident of Sopore and he carried a bounty of 10 lakh rupees on his head.
Neutralizing him would have been difficult because he was already heading a huge network in Sopore, Palhalan, Patan, Handwada, in areas of Bandipur and Baramulla. So had this gentleman made entry into North Kashmir, it would have been a problem for us. So that way, it's a big relief for us, as well as big relief to those all victims of his terrorist activities.
On to some other news, US Secretary of Defense James Mattis met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday during his two-day India visit. Now, issues discussed in the meeting centered around enhancing cooperation between India and the US in pursuing shared priorities for peace, stability and combating terrorism. During the meeting, Prime Minister Modi appreciated the close engagement between India and the US on regional and global issues of mutual interest. Prime Minister Modi also recalled his wide-ranging, candid and fruitful discussions with US President Donald Trump during his visit to the United States in June. Mattis also briefed the Prime Minister on the progress in advancing the bilateral agenda and implementing the decisions taken during his visit to the United States. And before his meeting with the Prime Minister, US Defence Secretary James Mattis held talks with the Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Tuesday with a focus on deepening military ties. Both the countries agreed there will be no tolerance for terror safe havens. India also ruled out deploying troops in Afghanistan, but said it will expand its developmental activities to help the war-torn country.
On his maiden visit to India, US Defence Secretary James Mattis held comprehensive talks with his Indian counterpart Nirmala Sitharaman on Tuesday. The talks covered the bilateral defence partnership between both the countries. Both leaders discussed the terror safe havens in Pakistan and agreed that such sanctuaries should not be tolerated.
The situation in our neighbourhood and the growing menace of cross-border terrorism were discussed in depth. There is growing convergence in the approaches of both our countries on this issue. We both recognize the importance of holding those who use terrorism as an instrument of state policy to account and to dismantle the infrastructure that support terrorism.
There can be no tolerance of terrorist safe havens. As global leaders, India and the United States resolve to work together to eradicate this scourge. In broad-ranging initiatives, we value India's leadership across the Indo-Pacific and beyond.
The Defence Minister also made India's stance on Afghanistan clear to Mattis. She said India will continue developmental assistance to Afghanistan but won't contribute troops to the war-ravaged country.
India's contribution to Afghanistan has been for a very long time and has been consistently on developmental issues. We've built dams, we've built hospitals, we shall continue doing all of them. Medical assistance is also provided by India. So India's contribution has been on these grounds and we shall expand if necessary. However, of course, we've made it very clear that there shall not be boots from India on the ground.
Supply of defense equipment to India also figured during the talks. The US Defense Secretary assured supply of cutting-edge defense technology and help India in producing defense equipments.
My goal on this trip is to promote pragmatic progress between us in our defense partnership, delivering defense interoperability aligned with priority and President Trump's direction. In the wide-ranging new relationship between our nations, security is one of the key strategic pillars.
We agreed to explore additional and specialized exercises. Cooperation in defense equipment has grown steadily over the past years. The US is now a leading supplier of state-of-the-art defense equipment to India. I appreciated Secretary Mattis's willingness to share further cutting-edge platforms which would enhance India's defense preparedness to meet current and emerging threats.
Ties between India and the United States have rapidly expanded, with New Delhi buying weapons worth $15 billion over the last decade from the United States, moving away from its traditional supplier, Russia. James Mattis is the first cabinet rank official to visit India under the Trump administration. He was accorded a Guard of Honor on the South Block lawns. Mattis also paid homage at the Amar Jawan Jyoti at the India Gate. With Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other top story of the day, Gorkha Janmukti Morcha has decided to suspend indefinite shutdown in the Darjeeling Hills from today morning. The GJM ended the strike after 104 days in response to an appeal by Home Minister Rajnath Singh. The Home Minister on Tuesday appealed to the GJM to withdraw the ongoing bandh in the Darjeeling Hills. He also asked the Union Home Secretary to convene an official level meeting in the Home Ministry within a fortnight to discuss all the related contentious issues. In a statement, the Home Minister said that in a democracy, dialogue is the only way out to resolve any problem and solutions can be found through restraint, mutual dialogue and within the legal ambit. Meanwhile, the Hill District has returned to normalcy as the shops and business establishments have reopened. The state administration has also lifted the restrictions on the use of internet services.
हम लोग बहुत खुश है, दार्जिलिंग खुला है, बहुत दिन का बाद पूजा भी पहुंच गया, इतना दिन का बाद दार्जिलिंग खुल गया, हम लोग बहुत खुश में है। आज हम लोग पैसेंजर का वेट कर रहे हैं, हम लोग गाड़ी उड़ी भी साफ कर रहा है कि आज से हम लोग निकलेंगे, दार्जिलिंग जाएंगे बोल के सोचा है कि बहुत खुश लग रहा है दार्जिलिंग खुला है।
हम बोल रहे हैं कि सभी के लिए, व्यापारी के लिए अच्छा रहेगा, सभी का काम धंधा चलेगा, जितना भी व्यापारी है सभी दुखी था, अच्छा से सॉल्यूशन होगा, टूरिस्ट आएगा जाएगा।
A legislation has been introduced in the US House of Representatives to support India's permanent membership to the United Nations Security Council. The legislation was introduced by Indian-American Congressman Amit Shah, who is the vice-ranking member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and Congressman Frank Pallone, founder of Congressional Caucus on India and Indian Americans. The resolution would put the House officially on record in support of India's bid. Currently, the resolution has 7 original co-sponsors. Now, introducing the resolution, US Congressman Banaras said that securing a permanent spot for India in the United Nations Security Council would strengthen democracy around the world. And back home, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the chiefs of public sector banks in New Delhi today. The interaction, where Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will also be present, will be done via proactive governance and timely implementation. For reports, the Prime Minister is expected to discuss the credit growth issues with the PSU bank chiefs. The Prime Minister is also expected to talk about the Startup India program in the meeting. And Chief Executive of Afghanistan, Abdullah, is on a visit to India beginning today. He will inaugurate the India-Afghanistan Trade and Investment Show along with the Finance Minister and the Minister of Civil Aviation. During his visit, Abdullah will also call on President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will also hold a meeting with the Chief Executive of Afghanistan. Abdullah's visit follows the recently concluded second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council, which was co-chaired by Sushma Swaraj and her Afghanistan counterpart. On the second day of his two-day visit to the state of Karnataka and Gujarat, the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu is visiting the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. Vice President Naidu is scheduled to address and interact with the students at the institute. After this, the Vice President will leave for Gujarat, where he will lay the foundation stone for a water and irrigation project in Mehsana. On Tuesday, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated a sanitation campaign in Karnataka's Gadag district, where he urged the people to work towards ending open defecation to achieve the goal of a clean India by 2nd of October 2019. Naidu pointed out that open defecation causes a serious threat to the safety of women and children and said that the number of Indians defecating in the open in the rural and urban areas has reduced to 30 crore from about 60 crore in 2014.
1 लाख बच्चे हमारा देश में उनका जान जा रहा है इसी कारण से, सैनिटेशन ना होने के कारण से। इसलिए मैं चाहता हूं डायरिया के कारण से, अन्य बीमारियों के कारण से, इसलिए मित्रों ये lack of sanitation contributes to physical and cognitive stunting in children. बच्चे ठीक तरह से वो आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे। Women and girls face a serious threat to their safety. वर्ल्ड बैंक का एक रिपोर्ट आया, उन्होंने कहा lack of sanitation costs over 6% of our GDP. ये वर्ल्ड बैंक का रिपोर्ट है। Ever since प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी ने अभियान चढ़ा उस समय से देश भर में अच्छा रिस्पांस है।
Now an update on the situation in Banaras Hindu University. Now the chief proctor O.N. Singh has resigned from his position, taking moral responsibility for the violence during the campus. His resignation has been accepted by the Vice Chancellor. The resignation comes after National Human Rights Commission issued notice to the BHU's Vice Chancellor and the UP government over the alleged police action against the protesting students. The Rights Panel issued notice to the UP Chief Secretary, the Director General of Police as well as the BHU's VC, seeking a detailed report within 4 weeks. Meanwhile, the Congress party has demanded a probe by the parliamentary panel into the lathi charge on the women students of the university. The party has also sought the removal of university's Vice Chancellor, while the ruling BJP has said that the government will take steps after this committee submits its report.
All party, including BJP का भी MP हो, लेकिन सीनियर लोग हों, सारी पार्टियों के सीनियर लोग, ऑल पार्टी एमपीज की एक डेलीगेशन, एक कमेटी बने और इसकी जांच करे और उस जांच में दूध का दूध और पानी का पानी हो। और ये वाइस चांसलर जो आज बैठे हुए हैं, इनको तत्काल जो है नीचे उतार दिया जाए और जब तक जांच कंप्लीट नहीं हो जाती, सारे एमपीज की जो रिपोर्ट है वो नहीं आती और उसके ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होती, तब तक के लिए इनको वहां चेयर पर नहीं बैठने देना चाहिए।
जांच कमेटी बैठा दी है माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने, उच्च स्तर की मंडल आयुक्त और एडीजी स्तर के अधिकारी उसकी जांच कर रहे हैं। जांच के बाद अगर कोई दोषी पाया जाता है कार्रवाई होगी उसके खिलाफ, लेकिन पठन पाठन से समझौता करने के लिए बाहरी असामाजिक तत्वों को कोई अनुमति नहीं होगी।
News from poll-bound Gujarat now. BJP President Amit Shah is on a 3-day visit to the state to chalk out the strategy for the state polls later this year. During the visit, which began on Tuesday, Amit Shah is scheduled to hold meetings with the office bearers of different cells of the party departments as well as leaders involved in the election management. During the visit, Shah is also expected to hold meetings with the state BJP's team, senior party leaders, cooperative leaders as well as members of the manifesto committee. And it is also the final day of Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's 3-day roadshow in Gujarat to campaign for his party in the state ahead of the upcoming state polls. Today, Rahul Gandhi is scheduled to visit towns of Chotila, Jasdan, Veerpur, Jetpur and other towns before concluding his campaign at Khoda Dam at Kadwal village. On Tuesday, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi criticized the government's implementation of initiatives like demonetization and GST. Interacting with the small and medium entrepreneurs, teachers and doctors at Hemu Gandgavi Auditorium in Rajkot, Rahul Gandhi said that decision of demonetization has shocked the world's best economists. He also assured the traded community that he would pressurize the government to simplify the GST. Congress Vice President further added that employment can be generated only by promoting small and medium entrepreneurs.
रोजगार हिंदुस्तान में आएगा तो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम बिजनेसेस के थ्रू आएगा और कहीं से नहीं आ सकता। जीएसटी में दो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। सबसे पहली गलती ये थी कि जीएसटी जैसा बड़ा काम इन्होंने बिना प्रिपरेशन के एक दिन में कर दिया। इंप्लीमेंटेशन की प्लानिंग तो की ही नहीं। नोटबंदी का भी डिसीजन ऐसे ही लिया, इसी प्रकार से एकदम एक सेकंड में।
The Madras High Court will hear DMK's petition for disqualification of Tamil Nadu's Deputy Chief Minister O. Paneerselvam and 10 other MLAs today. The state's main opposition party had approached the apex court to disqualify the MLAs under the anti-defection law for voting against Chief Minister E. Palanisami's trust vote in the month of February. In a petition, DMK Chief Whip R. Sakrapani submitted that a petition was given in this regard to Speaker P. Dhanapal on 20th of March by 6 AIDMK MLAs who are now loyal to sidelined leader TTV Dinakaran. The court is already hearing a separate petition by the DMK seeking a floor test for the Palanisamy government in the wake of 18 MLAs loyal to Dinakaran withdrawing their support to the Chief Minister on 22nd of August. The government has constituted a high-level 5G forum to approve the roadmap and action plan for the 5G rollout in the country by 2022. It is expected that it will create job opportunities and digitize the economy. It is also a move that will not only promises to make wireless connections blazingly fast, but will also make room for the proliferation of internet-connected smart devices.
The government is all set to introduce 5G technology in India by 2020. Stating this, Telecom Minister Manoj Sinha on Tuesday said 5G could well lead global subscriptions to the next generation technology. 5G is expected to speed up digital transformation in many industries.
लेकिन इस बार भारत 5G का अवसर खोना नहीं चाहता है, इसलिए जब दुनिया भर में स्टैंडर्ड तय किए जा रहे हैं तो भारत भी उसका हिस्सेदार बन रहा है।
The newly appointed forum, along with secretaries of telecom and science and technology, will also comprise of renowned telecom experts. It will examine early deployment of 5G in India and target 10% of the global market over the next 5 to 7 years.
Indian industry को represent करेंगे कई CEOs of ICT industry, Telecom Standard Development Organization of India और अनेक IIT से IIT चेन्नई, IIT मुंबई, IIT दिल्ली, IIT हैदराबाद, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस बेंगलुरु, IT इंडस्ट्री और विभिन्न स्टेक होल्डर्स को इस फोरम में रखा गया है।
India was led by 3 to 7 years in deploying 2G, 3G and 4G. The government is now going full steam with its Digital India campaign to deploy 5G. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some international news now. Saudi Arabia is easing restrictions on women driving, finally allowing almost half of its population to get behind the wheel. Now, a royal decree has been issued that will allow women in the country to drive. The move is in line with a series of changes that have been rippling in the Islamic kingdom since the rise of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Here are the details.
This may be a common sight world over. Women behind the wheel, getting on with their lives. But for Saudi Arabia, this is going to happen for the first time and therefore is a big deal. King Salman has issued a decree allowing women to drive for the first time. Government ministries are to prepare reports within 30 days and the order will be implemented by June 2018.
هذا احنا في شارع النجاح في مدينة الأحساء. توصلين فوق. طلعت مع خواتي وصلهم نقضي مشاويرهم بدون ما يتعطلون ينتظرون سواقين ينتظرون أحد يوصلهم. قلنا احنا نقضي مشاويرنا بنفسنا. ان شاء الله رايحين مشغل الامل. رايحين مشغل الامل. عندك رخصة؟ وعندي رخصة وعارفة اسوق، فان شاء الله ما في اي خطورة علينا وعلى خواتنا ان شاء الله.
Under the current system, only men are allowed driving licenses. Rights groups in the kingdom have campaigned for years to allow women to drive. Some women have been imprisoned for defying the rule. But this move will ease restrictions on women and has huge implications for the Saudi economy and the women's ability to work. The Islamic Kingdom recently allowed women to participate in National Day celebrations for the first time.
أنا جاية من منطقة تبوك حتى أحضر الحفلة هذه وتكون أمل لنا في أنه يكون مستقبلا نحضر حتى في المباريات في الأفراح في الأشياء اللي يعني تخصنا كشعب سعودي.
The move has been welcomed world over, with the US calling it a historic day. However, conservative voices within the country accuse the government of bending the verses of Sharia. This decree is in line with a program called Vision 2030, promoted by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to modernize Saudi society. The Crown Prince, who was appointed by his father to the position in June, is seen as a major power in the country and is expected by many to be named king before too long. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Big story coming in from the United States, tightening pressure on North Korea. The Trump administration on Tuesday announced another round of economic sanctions against Pyongyang. Washington has added 8 North Korean banks and 26 individuals linked to countries' financial networks and operating in 4 countries to its sanctions blacklist. The sanctions come amid an escalating war of personal insults between the two countries' leaders.
We are totally prepared for the second option, not a preferred option, but if we take that option, it will be devastating. I can tell you that, devastating for North Korea. That's called the military option. If we have to take it, we will.
US President Donald Trump issuing a familiar warning to North Korea, saying the US is prepared to use military action if necessary, but warning that would be devastating. The strong reaction came a day after North Korea said that it was ready to defend itself by shooting down US bombers. North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho, who was in New York early this week, had accused Trump of declaring war against his country.
He's saying things that should never, ever be said, and we're replying to those things, but it's a reply. It's not an original statement, it's a reply.
The war talk came even as reports say that the rogue nation has moved a small number of fighter jets and missiles to a base on its eastern coast to boost military readiness. However, US top military officers said that despite an escalation in rhetoric, there was no change in Pyongyang's military posture.
We haven't seen a change in the posture of North Korean forces. We watched that very carefully. We clearly have postured our forces to respond in the event of a provocation or a conflict. We also have taken all the proper measures to protect our allies, the South Koreans, the Japanese, the force, as well as Americans in the area.
Meanwhile, tightening pressure, Trump administration announced another round of economic sanctions against Pyongyang, blacklisting banks and individuals in several countries. In the latest US sanctions, the Treasury Department blacklisted 8 North Korean banks and 26 individuals who were operating in China, Russia, Libya and the UAE. The US believes tightening the economic screws will force Kim's government to the negotiating table.
We're going to continue to pursue our diplomatic efforts and hope that that's the way we'll solve this. Thank you.
The action comes as the international community continues to use economic pressure to push the communist dictatorship to end its nuclear ambitions. In the 2 recent unanimous votes, the United Nations Security Council put new sanctions on Pyongyang over Kim Jong-un's government tests of long-range ballistic missiles and a hydrogen bomb. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from Pakistan, where the Anti-Corruption Court has decided to formally charge ousted Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif on the 2nd of October in the Panama Papers scandal. The Accountability Court has also issued bailable arrest warrants for Sharif's children, Hassan Hussain and Mariam, and for his son-in-law, Captain Safdar. The court directed them to submit a surety bond worth 1 million rupees each to secure bail. During the brief hearing, Sharif informed the accountability court judge that his wife was unwell and he needed to attend to her. He was then allowed to leave the court. Nawaz Sharif had appeared before the court for the first time to face graft charges against him in the Panama Papers scandal a day after he returned from London. Now, addressing a press conference after the hearing, Nawaz Sharif declared that he was clean and he vowed to fight corruption charges.
मैं झूठ पर मबनी बेबुनियाद मुकदमे लड़ रहा हूं, सजाएं भी पा रहा हूं, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ मैंने एक हकीकी और सबसे बड़ा मुकदमा लड़ने का तहैया भी कर लिया है.
Let's get you some more news from across the globe. Here is the World Wrap. A week after Hurricane Maria smashed Puerto Rico as a Category 4 storm, the situation is getting worse with a shortage of food and water. Most areas are also still without power. Maria showed Puerto Rico last Wednesday as the most powerful hurricane to strike the island in nearly a century, unleashing severe flooding and causing widespread heavy damage to the homes and infrastructure. The storm has claimed more than 30 lives across the Caribbean, at least 15 in Puerto Rico. A Pakistani intelligence officer has accused his own spy agency of protecting terrorists. Malik Mukhtar Ahmad Shahzad, a serving assistant sub-inspector of Pakistan's intelligence bureau, has accused his senior officers of not taking action against terrorism suspects. He has filed a petition in a court in Islamabad requesting for a thorough investigation into the matter. And British police have released 3 men who were arrested in connection with the bomb attack on a London underground train earlier this month. 6 people have now been released out of the 7 who were arrested during the investigation into the 15th of September attack at Parsons Green Station in West London. The only person who remains in custody, Ahmad Hassan, has been charged with attempting to murder passengers on board the train. And finally, Rajya Sabha's Secretary General Deep Verma on Tuesday felicitated the winners of various competitions organized during the Hindi Pakhwara in the Rajya Sabha Secretariat. Speaking on the occasion, the Secretary General said that Hindi language unites and connects the nation.
Rajya Sabha Secretary General Deepak Verma on Tuesday presented awards to the winners of various competitions organized during the Hindi Pakhwara event. Prizes and certificates were awarded to winners of various categories like Hindi essay writing, noting, drafting, Hindi typing and Hindi debate. The Rajbhasha Shield that was introduced in 1994 was awarded to the establishment and budget section for maximum work undertaken in Hindi in a year.
हिंदी जो हमारे पूरे देश के लिए एक संपर्क भाषा है, वो पूरे देश को जोड़ने का काम करती है. भाषा के अलावा जो एक बड़ा महत्व है उसका, वो सबको एक में जोड़ने का कार्य करती है. और उस दृष्टि से इस समारोहों का, इस तरह के कार्यक्रमों का बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है.
Secretary General Verma said that such programs encourage non-Hindi speakers as well.
जो कार्यक्रम हम और जो पुरस्कार हम अहिंदी भाषी क्षेत्र के लोगों के लिए इस पखवाड़े के दौरान देते हैं, उससे हिंदी के प्रति जो उनकी झिझक है, जो उनकी कुछ अरुचि है, वो अपने आप से उनको हिंदी की तरफ खींचती है. और उस दृष्टि से मैं समझता हूँ कि इस तरह के कार्यक्रम का बहुत महत्व है.
14th of September is celebrated across the country as Hindi Divas, and Hindi Pakhwara is organized in the Secretariat by the Prabhag with the approval of the Secretary General. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
That's all in this edition of news. Thanks so much for watching.